All right. I am using a new platform. I am on StreamYard. I am not even sure if this is working. We're going to find out. Let's see. Staring a window. Let's just hide that little notification. Um, all right. I need to go. Let me double check. Let me see if we're live yet. I'm gonna go to YouTube. So we should be live on YouTube and on Substack. So this is a new thing we're doing. We're gonna do live master classes every single Monday. I do not see that. Oh, I am live. Okay, perfect. So I see that I'm live there on YouTube. And let me see on Substack really quick. Perfect. Oh, how exciting. Okay. Welcome to what I'm calling Masterclass Mondays. So, if you are a subscriber on Substack or you are a subscriber on YouTube, every Monday I am going to do some form of a masterclass that's going to help you take your experience and turn it into income. Today is literally experience to income masterclass. It is all about converting lived experience into paid digital products, and you can do this without a large following, without being an influencer, or without needing to overshare every single detail about your life. What I need to know, oh, okay, comments are right here. Share. Okay, I can post comments right there. Perfect. That's all I needed to know. All right. So let's dive in. Let me see how to do this. There we go. First, 2 days agenda. Today, this is exactly what you're going to learn. You're going to learn what actually sells online. You're going to learn how experience can become a digital offer. That's a hiccup that a lot of people have. They're like, wait a second. What if I don't have anything to teach? Can you all hear me? Oh, yeah, you should be able to. Let me tune in real quick. Oh, no, never mind. I can't even see it. Hold on, y'all. I want to make sure that I can be heard. Can I click on this? I can't look interesting, so I can't look at it for myself, but I can see it. Oh, there we go. Okay, can you hear me? Yep. Perfect. Making sure we don't have any hiccups. Okay, so today what you're going to learn, what actually sells online, how experience becomes a digital offer. Like I said, a lot of people are like, I don't know if I have anything. I don't know what to sell. What can I even talk about? We're going to get into that. And then we're going to talk about why most digital products fail. You see these things on the internet of people just selling digital products, and they're, making money, and they're posting wins, and they're posting income wins, and you might be sitting there wondering, you're like, why are some of these failing? Why are some of these like not working for me and stuff like that? So that's what we are going to do today. First things first, for anybody that is new, for anybody that is coming in and seeing my face for the first time, maybe you're just now finding me on Substack, maybe you're scrolling YouTube and you're like, who is this chick? My name is Nikki. I am a business and identity coach. I specialize specifically in like internal identity works and then digital product strategy, digital offer creation, things like that. So, a couple little fun facts about me. I am a mom. I always say 3+1 because I have a bonus baby, but she does have her own parents. So I never want to take that title from them. But excuse me, I do have 4 children total. California, born and raised. Yes, I am. For my astrology people out there, I like astrology. I'm a Gemini, sun and moon. Some of you are going to pop off right when you hear that. You can be like, never mind. With an Aries rising. So that's always fun. In my free time, I do love to write. If you are not following me on Facebook or you're not subscribed to my Substack, you should be. I do like to write. I try to write every single day. I try to write in a way where, it's both a release for me and people can learn something. You can learn something about your identity. You can learn something about your internal world. You can learn something about manifestation. You can learn something about money. Okay. So I love to write. I love the beach. Like I said, I live in California. I do like to weightlift. I do, but I also like to eat. So depending on the time of month, you're not sure which one you're going to see. You're either going to see a little more muscle tone or a little more not muscle tone. I do love both. Back in 2019 is when I created my very first digital product, which I'm going to show you in a minute, the types of products that I created so that you could really get your brain going. But back in 2019 is when I created the very first digital products. And that was when I had a newborn. So my little kiddos right here, this oldest one, he was a baby. And I just really wanted some extra money. If you're watching this, whether you're watching it live or watching the replay, like leave me a 1 in the comments if you've ever just been sitting there and you're like, I really just want a different way to make money. I really just want a different way to bring in income that does not rely on a paycheck. Leave me a one. Like I said, whether you're watching live or the replay, leave me a one if that resonates with you. I know for me, that was a really big deal. And it became 10 times more intense when I became a mom. I have 10 plus years in corporate sales. I've done retail sales, I've done B2C sales, and I have done B2B sales. So I do know a thing or two about sales psychology. After all of those years in corporate sales, I do integrate that into what I teach people. I am, for those of you who like certifications, I am certified. I'm a certified spiritual life coach, a storytelling coach, and an art therapy coach. That is something I'll be bringing back later. And I did study business and psychology at San Jose City College for a while. So, digital products from skills and experiences. If you have ever felt like you have something that you want to teach others and you're not quite sure how to do it, you're not sure if it's tangible, leave me a 2 in the comments. Let me know. Let me know what's going on. Like, I have something, but I don't know if it's tangible. Let me know if leave me a 3 if you're just scared. If you're like, I want to do this and I'm terrified. Leave me a 3 in the comments. So, these are some of the products that I have created. These have all generated income at some point in time. Okay. So the very first digital product I created was this one over here, the Ultimate Guide to Selling Your Services. That is me when it was done. I was in my 20s, and that is he was not a baby anymore, but that's when he was a little baby. So what I did with that product specifically is I took my corporate sales skills and I turned it into an ebook. And from that ebook, I decided, I was like, there's a bit of a gap that I'm witnessing. I had just started getting into like the entrepreneur space online. And what I was realizing is a lot of the cold pitches I was coming across from other people, I was like, these are not good, for lack of a better term. I was like, these are just not that good. And so I noticed a bit of a gap. I didn't have a lot of entrepreneur friends at the time. I only knew that I was thinking about my skills, and I'm like, what's sellable? Like, money is always sellable, right? And I'll get into the niches in a minute, but money is always sellable. And so I went ahead and I took that, and I took my skills and I packaged it into that ebook. And that was the very first thing I ever created. And my intention, I'm not even going to lie to you right now. My intention was I was going to make 7 figures off of that in the next 60 days and not go back after maternity leave. Did that happen? No. But I learned what a digital product was. I had no idea about digital products. All I knew was ebooks, and I didn't know that those were considered digital products. I just knew they were ebooks. So fast forward a couple months later, I hired my very first business coach, and I learned what a niche was. And I saw a gap in the fitness niche. And so when I saw this gap in the fitness niche, I was like, personal trainers and fitness coaches, they understand how to train people. They can get you the physique you need. They don't necessarily know how to sell it. Okay. So I took that exact same book and I rewrote it specifically for fitness coaches. As you're listening right now, I want you to really start thinking about certain skills that you have that you see a gap in elsewhere. When you are thinking about this, think about like, where do I typically see a gap in whatever skill it is, right? Think about that. Think about any gaps that you see and how you could bridge that gap. Give me 1 second, y'all. If you're available. Okay. So then after that, I took a little bit of a break. I did. I took a little bit of a break from business. Well, that's a lie. It's a half lie. So I made that, I sold that, and it's not listed on this. On my next time I do this, I'm going to add it. And I didn't list it on here. So after I did this, I made this an ebook. After this ebook, I turned this into a 6-week workshop. It was called Fitness Business Boot Camp. I wish I had a picture on here. It's in my Canva. Next week, you will see the picture. But it was called Fitness Business Boot Camp. And what it was everything inside of this ebook. And I turned it into a 6-week workshop, a 6-week coaching thing, right? So it was live. I, had one person that had signed up for it, and I was super excited and they were super excited. So essentially I ended up getting one-on-one coaching. And yeah, we did 6 weeks to basically get them some sales training on selling their fitness packages. And it was great. And so I had learned a lot that time. I don't believe I recorded it. I think I only did it live. I never got the opportunity to record and repackage it into like a consistent sellable offer, something that I would not advise anymore. But that is how that happened. So it went from ebook to then fitness business boot camp. Over here, 90 days to mindfulness journal. So I'm gonna jump around a little bit. So after fitness business boot camp, I really went on like a spiritual journey. Okay. So I went on this spiritual journey and I also went back into a writing journey. And so this is where the 90 days to mindfulness journal came from. And I created a guide that was just 90 days to really like, learn how to kind of meditate and just get in touch with yourself. Through my business ventures, I started to understand email marketing a lot better. And I started to see really good results in emails. I was able to, assist other people with their emails and stuff. And so I had email marketing clients and things like that. And I took that and I packaged it into my first ever course. And that was Soul of Storytelling for $1 Million Emails. This right here was the pivotal moment for me. So this was the first pivotal moment, understanding I could take a skill and sell it. This was the next pivotal moment. This was the first time that I made what I would consider passive income. And I've told this story before. If you've never heard it, though, you're going to hear it now. So I promoted this on Facebook and I went to a friend's wedding. And at the wedding, I ended up making passive money from it. I made like $200 at the wedding from that course. And that was the first time that I really realized, wow, I can create something one time and then I can go live my life. And if I have a system on the back end, it can just make sales. Leave me a one in the comments if that sounds good. If you're like, you know what, I would love to create something one time and then, get my systems going and live my life and then go on and like make money, right, while I'm living my life. That was the first time that happened. So that was a pivotal moment. Fast forward, I had my second baby. I had a very difficult postpartum. So I made Mom's Journey to Mindfulness, which was embracing calm in the chaos. I had to understand this mindful minute method. I was all over the place. Once I did that, I was able to get this product out. And then Intuitive Writing Mastery was another writing product that I did. And this was all about intuitive writing, writing on a spiritual level. So Nikki, why are you telling me all these things you created? Because I want to show you the vast variety of all the types of things that you can create. Like I said, every single one of these made money at some point in my life, right? And so for you, if you're sitting there and thinking, I don't have skills, I don't have experience, I'm not sure, this is to show you that nothing is really off limits. It's just a matter of how you talk about it and how you present it. And I completely skipped this one. How to write an ebook and teach what you know. That was once I realized, hey, I'm pretty good at these ebooks. Okay. So going in, these are some of the people that I have helped. These are, some of what they were able to do. This is what I'm going to teach you today. So, you can see some of the people were able to get results from meditations that I created, email marketing when I launched that course, the sales ebook right here, launching a program, things like that, right? So your products will get people results as long as they implement and as long as you're clear with it. I also want to point out the result, as long as you've done your part, that's also up to your buyer. Okay, so why am I teaching you this? And this is what we're going to jump into right now. So why am I even like, Nikki, why are you going to do these master classes on Monday? First of all, I know exactly what it's like to be frustrated and confused watching other people make these digital products and, like it sells and things like that. They're the ones I listed are the ones that sold. I have some that did not go anywhere, right? So I know what it's like to be like, oh my God, like, how am I going to do this? I know what it's like to have skills and then not trust yourself with skills. There's a big gap there, right? You will have skills, I have skills, and then we'll be like, okay, but I don't know if I trust myself with these skills. Leave me a 3 in the comments if that's you. If you're like, I know I got something and I just I don't have the belief that I can make it happen, right? And I know that's hard to accept, right? But we're going to get through that. Like I said, I know what it's like to create something that doesn't sell, which is why I want to teach you how to do that from a way that's viable. And I know what it's like to work late nights with no reward in sight. Leave a me in the comments if that's you. If you have been essentially grinding and trying to figure things out and you're like, I don't know what's going on. These pictures all serve a purpose. This is me just doing a little brand shoot that I use for both corporate and business. I'm doing both. This was me when I was in my early 20s and I was trying to start a YouTube channel. My YouTube account is very old, and was very inconsistent for a long time. And then these two is when my baby was little and I was really just getting started with digital products. So the big thing is I want to help you. If you are ready, tell me ready in the comments. So the first thing I want to do is tell you, you have something teachable for sure. And I want you to really think about it this way. If you wanted to be known for anything, what would it be? Just take a moment and, jot that down. If you're watching the replay, you could pause this video. Just, think about that for a second. If you could be known for anything, what would it be? And as you think, I want you to also think about the experiences that you've been through that you feel like they serve a purpose, even if you don't know exactly what that purpose is just yet, or you don't know how to structure it yet. Go to that place for a moment because I'm going to teach you a framework. Okay. So think about that. If you could be known for anything, what would it be? And I want you to remember this: the future is not job security, it is self ownership. We are in the time where creators need to be creative. We have got to create things. Okay. Your skills, story, energy, and experiences are already the currency. We are packaging them for income. So let's first clarify your experiences. So if you have a notebook, which you should, take a moment and ask yourself, what skills have you learned? What do people come to you for advice on? If you have something that people are continuously asking you for advice on, you already have a product in mind. Okay. Because especially if people are asking over and over, if you find the same questions popping up, you have a product right there. What major experience or experiences did you have to go through that shaped who you were today? So, like, for example, my second postpartum was a major experience. My first one was fine, and my third one was fine. The third one I was actually more nervous about because I did 202 the last time. My second one, though, that was an experience, and that was something that I had to go through, but it really did shape something in me. The spiritual awakening journey, again, another major experience, lots of highs, lots of lows there, but it allowed me to create a method to get through it. Postpartum number 2 allowed me to create a method to get through it. So start to think about that. What major experience did you have that shaped you, or that you had to create a method to get through, that you had to make something up to get through, right? And the last thing, what do you consider yourself an expert on? Is there something that you consider yourself an expert on? Is there something that if somebody was like, "Hey, I need you to, do a 20-minute unprompted talk on this, an unprompted teaching on this," what would that thing be? What could you just talk about? Right? Once you have that, once you have that list, I want you to take a look at that list and I want you to see if anything on your list fits into one of these 3 categories. So these 3 are typically the most profitable niches that we have, which is health, wealth, and relationship. There is an honorable subcategory mention of spirituality. Okay, so like if I had to classify myself, I'm in the wealth/spirituality niche. Like I'll teach you how to make money, but there's going to be a spiritual twist to it, right? So relationships can be a relationship with self, relationship with your children, relationship with your partner, relationship finding a relationship, right? Letting go of anxious attachment in relationships. I had a client that was her niche. So different things like that, right? You don't have to think relationships are always romantic. They can be platonic, it can be friendships, it can be parent to child, it can be um well, I guess that's about it. It can be any of those, right? And then the health niche. So when it comes to health, right? Wellness, fitness, holistic health, things like that, right? Where do you fall into the health niche? Have you um An example I'm gonna give later is like sourdough bread, right? So if you're teaching people how to do homemaking, that would be considered a health thing, right? You're doing it to get rid of the preservatives, to get rid of the junk they put in at the grocery store, right? Different things like that. Okay. So when you think about your experience and the things that you wrote down, I want you to write either HW or R next to them if they fall into a category. And if they fall into one of those categories, then boom, now you know where you're at. The next thing you're going to want to do is define the transformation. So when you're looking at the experience or at your experiences, which one can you clearly draw a before and after from? So if I think about the digital products that I showed you earlier, for example, the sales ebook, the before and after of that is from no clients to knowing how to book clients and receive referrals, right? If I look at the fitness sales ebook, same thing, but specifically for fitness coaches, not knowing how to package and sell your fitness programs to being able to confidently book and sell your fitness programs. Okay. If I'm trying to think how to take an ebook and teach, or how to write an ebook and teach what you know, how to not knowing how to structure both an ebook and take your experience to turn it into something tangible, to being able to write a step-by-step chapter playbook ebook of your experience and teach somebody else so that you can sell it and make money. Okay, so what is the before and after? The mom's journey to mindfulness, right? From being like just completely chaotic and lashing and what's the word I'm looking for? Snappy. I just snapped. From being snappy to being able to be like calm, cool, collected, and patient with your kids, right? Different things like that. So the before and after. Ooh, what's happening to my stream? Oh, there it goes. Okay. What are the tangible and emotional results that are tied to your transformation? So when we think of a tangible result would be obviously to have more clients, right? For the sales ebook. That's a tangible result. But then the emotional result behind that, there's a sense of gratitude, there's a sense of fulfillment, there's a sense of relief. Oh my gosh, it's working. I can pay my bills now. My business is profitable, right? Different things like that. So think both. What is the tangible and emotional result? And I'm going to give you a little tip because when it comes to selling your offer, you're going to want to hit both. People will buy through emotions, right? They get worked up and they're like, I need this. I need this. My feelings need this, right? Then they get into it. They also need to buy from a tangible and logical space. When you have both of them together, then it makes it a no brainer. Your offer then becomes the absolute yes for what they need because you can provide the tangible and the emotional results that they're looking for. So that's why I always tell my clients what are both the tangible and emotional results. And then lastly, what becomes possible for them after the transformation? So if you were to pick an experience and you think about where you were to where you are now post experience and what became possible for you, what would then become possible for them? Is it time freedom? Is it more patience with their children? Is it more money? Is it more money on automation so that they can have time freedom or they can have time with their children? Is it healthier food so they can feel good in their body? Is it a fitness is it confidence from after a fitness plan that they, feel more confident because they have the energy to play with their children now or more confident to go out on dates or, whatever it is, right? So, what is possible for them after this transformation? Think essentially like, what is the glow up? Okay, think about it that way. And then you're going to want to define the transformation. So, to define the transformation, you're looking at first, what was the experience? Second, what was the struggle? And then third, what is the transformation, the end result, right? So think about the 3 to 5 steps. You don't want to do more than 5. It gets to where oh my goodness, it becomes overwhelming. It gets to where your client is overwhelmed. I tried to say that both at the same time and it just came out all jumbled. So no more than 5, typically 3 to 5 steps. That's enough for a framework, okay? That you would guide someone else, essentially moving from stuck to empowered. Okay. They're stuck. They're frustrated. They don't know what to do. Now they're empowered. Okay. So think about that. That is your roadmap. Your roadmap is essentially your framework. So when we're defining the transformation, let's say you're in the travel niche, right? Think about it this way. Travel it's a luxury I can't afford. That's their before. They don't know how they're going to pay for it. They're like, I can't even afford to travel. That is so far off my brain right now. I am, I don't even know how to save money for emergencies, much less travel, but they really desire to. They're like, I really do want to travel. And let's say you're a travel creator or a travel business owner, right? You got deals on budget flights. You know exactly how to book. You've been to several countries on a budget, right? And you've had a great time every single time. So the after would be confidently being able to book flights and experience the world without breaking the bank. If you were able to teach somebody, actually, you can travel, start with the mindset shift and then get into the logistics of it. Now you've taken them from before and after. Now there is a new life in their eyes, so to speak, because they see something that they didn't think was possible for them and they see how it is possible for them through you, your experience, your expertise. Another one, transformation. I want to make homemade bread from scratch, but it's too time consuming and expensive. That is a belief, right? I'm like, I have, 5 children. I work a full-time job. How the heck am I going to have time to like bake some sourdough, right? Whereas after, you're looking at confidently able to bake sourdough bread for family in minimal time with minimal ingredients. I personally never made a sourdough bread. But maybe somebody knows how to get it done in a weekend, how to get it done around the dinner hour, right? And then like how to just keep it going and how to maintain it so that it actually becomes less of a hassle to make your own food than it does to go to the grocery store. There is an account of creators, they're sisters, and they do homesteading. One lives in the city and one lives in the country. And they share an Instagram account and they teach homesteading like that and how to just, get yourself started so that it becomes a lot easier than actually going out to the grocery store. I haven't checked them out very much in depth, but I like where it's going. Okay. They could be struggling with the belief that it'll cost too much in time and money, frustrating, but at the same time, frustrated because she wants to be healthier for her family. This is a mom who's really self conscious about, or is really conscious about the ingredients, right? Now she can save both time and money. Or I'm sorry, save money and knowing what the ingredients that her family is consuming. So there's a peace of mind there. Okay. So when you're defining the transformation from your experience, right, and you're going to turn it into a product, into an offer, what you want to do is you want to sell them what they want, but give them what they need. So this is, oh my gosh, I always forget the name. May something hierarchy of needs. Oh, I almost said it. Anyways, so the first thing is psychological needs and safety and security need to be met before you can even get into self-esteem and self-actualize. Okay. So when you're thinking about your client, when you're thinking about your target audience, you have to think about where they actually are in the experience. Okay. So if you're taking your experience and turning it into a framework and an offer, think about where you were at the beginning. If you at the beginning, let's say you're trying to jump up into self-esteem, but you at the beginning of your transformation, you are not even safe and secure down here, more than likely your client isn't either, or your buyer isn't either. So you can't always talk about this, the self-esteem part. They can't see it. You have to start down here. Mindset shifts. What's possible down here? And then build up off of that. So whenever you're doing, writing your experience and thinking about it from that perspective and the perspective of your buyer being where you used to be, think about it from that perspective. Keep this handy. Where is she now? Excuse me. Does she have safety and security? If she has that, then she can jump to love and belonging and so on and so forth. But if she is struggling to pay the bills and she is down here and does not see a way out, you can't jump up here to self-esteem and self-actualize. Okay. You have to meet them here and then work it upwards. So now that you have what your experience was in 3 to 5 steps, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to name it. Give it a fancy little name if you want. Okay. So the first thing, what is step one is what's the first thing that someone needs to know or feel? Step two, what do you guide them into or help them shift? And then step three, what's the result, embodiment, or outcome after? If you can find a little alliteration here or a little acronym, that is always like just it's such a nice memorable thing, right? To have some form of an acronym with your method if you can. If you can't, it's fine. Experience to income is not an acronym. But like my high ticket program is the Empress Authority and it's TEA. So T. So I'm always like, this is the T your business needs, right? So something like that. If you can do something like that, that's always fun to do. If not, don't stress about it. Think about in your framework, what are these steps and give them a name. So something someone needs to know or feel, that is step one. Something what you guide them into or help them shift, that is step two, and name it. And then what's the result, embodiment, or outcome, step three, and name it. So choosing the digital offer. When you're thinking about the experience and you've picked out an experience and you're like, I'm going to use this one and I really want to teach on this one, what type of digital offer is going to be best suited for that? So, first things, we have ebooks. Ebooks, guides, well, guides is over in toolkits. Ebooks can also be guides. Those range about $17 to $97, depending on who the audience is, how in depth it is, okay? What the transformation is. Workshops are live or pre-recorded, and that's where you can get a bunch of people in for a couple weeks. So, excuse me. My throat got dry. Okay. So workshop. So for example, when I ran Fitness Business Boot Camp, and it turned out to be a one-on-one coaching, but it was supposed to be a workshop. This was many years ago. So that type of workshop, you'll have multiple people in, you'll meet with them, once a week or whatever it is, and then you'll do something with them together. This is like a done with you type of thing. Okay. You can throw coaching in there too. Have some homework for them, have something for them to bring back to you each week. These can run 47 to 297, again, depending on the transformation, how in depth they are. Masterclasses. A masterclass is something like this. You pick one framework, one method, one anything, and you turn it into one class. Okay. So it should say 0 to 197. Free masterclasses and paid masterclasses are a little bit different. So for a paid masterclass, which would go more in depth than maybe a free one, you're looking at 47 to 197 for something like that. Okay. Depending on, again, the transformation, what they get out of it. Do they have worksheets that go with it? Are you sending PDFs to go with it? Do they have a whole workbook? Is it just you talking? Is there pauses for homework, right? Different things like that will play different price points. Is it 60 minutes? Is it 90 minutes? Okay. These all play a role. Then you have your coaching containers. This is you guiding somebody, you helping them. They get access to you. These should be 4 figures plus. And I am so sorry. At the beginning, I meant to say this and I did not. So forgive me because I don't like when people do this to me on webinars. But I will have a coaching offer at the end for those of you who are interested. I wanted to be fully transparent with that. Yeah, I meant to say that when I was going over my product spill. I'm gonna just say it now. Okay. So, but anyways, coaching containers, access to you. This is where they get access to you. This should be 4-figure investment plus 5-figure, whatever. And you meet with them. You can meet with them virtually, but you meet with them either one-on-one or in a group setting, and you are helping them. You are actually actively giving them feedback. You are actively giving them advice. You are actively giving them instructions, things to do, checking in with them, reworking beliefs, all of the things, right? So those are your coaching containers. And you can take your experience and coach somebody through it. Okay. So that is more of a digital offer, less of a product per se. You can add templates, workbooks, PDFs, different things like that to that. Okay. And you have your guides and your toolkits. Excuse me. Toolkits, those can be, let's say you're really good with email marketing and you have different email templates or you have different guides you throw in. It's just like a few different things that they can come back and access. So intuitive writing mastery, which was one of the courses that I showed you earlier, I also positioned that as a toolkit. It was a spiritual toolkit because it had meditations and writing prompts and different things like that that you could always come back to whenever you needed to get back in touch with your higher self. Okay. So toolkit $17 to $97. And then courses slash mini courses. So that is where you would take your experience and you're going to break it down. A mini course, let's say you have a 3-step framework. That can be a mini course, 3 different videos. Throw in some worksheets with it, right? There you have a mini course. If you want to go more in depth, you have a course, a few more modules, right? Maybe it's from really start to finish, not just teaching one piece of the methods. Then that would be your course. Those can range. I really should have put 997 plus. I've seen courses sell for $1,500. I've seen courses sell for 497 is always like just a little sweet like entry spot for a course, different things like that. So these are some of the types of offers that you can use to take your experience, plop them in here, and turn it into income. This is the income piece of the experience. Okay. You got to put it in an offer that will sell. So when you're thinking about that, think about how much money you want to make and work backwards. Think about one, how much, if you're like, well, I don't really know, think about how much money you want to make and think about how much you want to sell each day. Okay. And that is a good way to start. Another way to start when you're choosing your digital offer is how long does the transformation take? Can this be done in a quick guide? You know what I mean? Learning, for example, my sales ebook, learning a sales cycle is not, it doesn't take long. You'll have to do it over and over to get it, but to get the information fit in an ebook. Okay. And it could honestly fit in like a 2-hour masterclass. So think about that. How long does a transformation take? How in depth do you want to be with the transformation? Okay. That matters. What capacity do you have to show up? That's a big one. If you're wanting to run workshops, do you have the capacity to show up and launch these workshops all the time? Or would you rather record it once and then talk about it and just sell it through a course over and over? Think about that. If you're going to do coaching, do you have the capacity to meet with clients every week or every other week or do an asynchronous schedule or something like that? Okay, think about that. How do I show up best? I feel like people overlook this one a lot. This is not to say you can't do better at one thing and then do something else. This is not to say that at all. But when you think about your first offer, how do you show up best? I knew myself. I knew back then, and even now, I show up better in written word. I show up better through writing. This is why my lives now, I have a whiteboard and I have slides and things like that, because it's a lot easier for me to talk for a long time if I kind of have a little bit of notes going with me. I show up better through writing. My first digital offer was an ebook. My best entrepreneur friend shows up better on video. She can just go unscripted for like 2 hours. She's great at it, right? So she would much rather just sit down and record a video, whereas I would just rather sit down and write a book. So you see what I mean? So think about how you show up best. Also, how does your audience like to consume? I prefer people who like to read. I like people who like to come into my space and they like to read. I like to read. You see what I mean? So think about that. Again, my best friend who does video, she, as a consumer, would also rather just go and watch a video. She'd rather watch a long form video. I'd rather read a long form article. So think about that. Okay. When you're thinking of your first one, when you want to diversify them, you can sell the same thing in multiple formats. But to get that first product out there, think about what capacity do you have and how do you show up the best? Okay. And then as you start to branch out, I want you to think of it this way. Is there more than one way to teach this? That is, oh, I thought somebody was out. That is typically rhetorical because there is usually more than one way to teach this. Because I can take this and I can teach this in the masterclass. I can turn it into a guided ebook. I can break it down into more in-depth pieces and turn it into a course, right? There's always different ways to teach it. So when you think about there is more than one way to teach your experience, how do you want to teach it the first time? Get your feedback, get more questions from people, and then go and expand on it and record and do it in other ways too. So, for those of you that are watching or watching the replay, I want you to just check in with yourself for a moment. Let me know how you're feeling. If you are like, yes, I feel like I have something I can sell and I have an idea of how to do it, leave me a yes. If you're still a little bit of a little bit of if you're still a little bit confused and you're like, I'm still kind of on the fence here, leave me an unsure. We don't have to say no. Leave me an unsure, leave me an uncertain. If you have like certain things that are coming up and you're like, I'm a little on this, drop it in the comments. Let me know what's going on. Let me know what's going running through your mind. But and we can work through that. But if you're like, yes, I've got this, that is good. That's such a good place to be, because then it's like now you just get to implement next. So I told you that I would talk about why some digital offers don't sell. Aside from not double checking, there's a tangible piece to this, and then there's the energetic piece to this. The tangible piece is looking up on social media to see if people are actually searching for the topic. Now, most of the time people are searching for something that you have experienced, okay? That's always like the easier part, because it's like, okay, if I've experienced this, other people probably have too. Now, the second piece though is the identity and the embodiment piece. You're not going to get away from a class of mine without getting into some identity work. Your digital offer is only as good as you energetically believe in yourself to teach it. If you put together an offer from an experience that you don't want to talk about, that you don't feel confident in, that you are like, I don't know if I'm the teacher for this, and you're not sure about it, and you don't have a certainty to you, it's going to be wonky, okay? Because you're not going to be excited talking about it. On that list I told you that everything had sold, right? The one thing that sold the least amount was Mom's Journey to Mindfulness. And you know why? Because I was not that confident in talking about my postpartum experience back then. It sold a little bit, and then I got real shy and I didn't want to talk about it. I could probably put it together and do it now, because I'd be okay talking about like the experience and stuff. But at the moment, I still had a lot of shame and guilt and insecurities around that. So when you're picking an experience, I want you to also be consciously aware of that, because when you're going to do this, you're going to be talking about it a lot. And yes, talking about it is healing and all of the things, but you're going to be talking about it a lot. And so, one second. I don't know if that's a motorcycle or that was okay. I didn't know if it was a lawnmower, because I was going to shut my door. You're going to be talking about it a lot. And so if you're going to be talking about something a lot, then you're going to want to make sure you feel good talking about it. Okay. So, like I said, it's only as good as you energetically believe in yourself to teach it. As great as that thing was, and as good as that experience was, I did create it a little bit prematurely. I can say that now. Hindsight is 2020. Okay. So let's rewire some common fears. If any of these fears come up for you, I want you to give me a 1 for the first one, a 2 for the second one, a 3 for the third one, and a 4 for the last one. And if it's all of them, say all. If it's none of them, say none. So the first one, I'm not ready. That is the most common thing I hear. I'm not ready. I don't know if I've been ready. Okay. Reframe that. I know how to speak to my transformation, and that is enough. If you know how to speak to it and you have a confidence to do it, then you can get started. Okay. It's all been done. That is another common one that I used to say that it's already been done. It's all been done. No, it hasn't. Your story and your voice is what makes it unique. Look at the bread aisle. When I go to the bread aisle, there are a good amount of different types of wheat bread. Okay. There's the one with oats. There's the one with, I don't know. They put something else in them. There's like oat wheat bread. There's regular wheat bread. There's dry wheat bread. It's not called that, but it tastes like that, right? There's different kinds of bread, and everybody still has a preference. And so when you're thinking it's all been done, what is it that's going to make you unique, right? Your voice and your perspective is what's going to make you unique. I am not the only person out there that can teach you how to turn experience to income. I have peers that do that, right? I'm not the only person, but we all have we all have a unique angle. We have a different way to do it. We have different stories about it, right? We're of each a version of wheat bread. I like the Alfaro's wheat bread because it's soft. I don't like the dry one with the nuts in the crust and all. I don't like that, right? It's just that doesn't belong on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So think about that, okay? When you're looking at it like that, look at the bread aisle. People will still have a preference. Selling feels icky. That's a big one. Especially it's probably easy to look and be like, "Well, Nikki, you come from sales. Of course selling is easier for you." No, it's all about perspective. So if selling feels icky to you, you have to remember that selling is serving and it is sacred when it's aligned. I don't teach you to go and chase down people who don't want to be sold to. Even in corporate, I would not do that. Okay? You're not going to chase down people who don't want what you have. Because one, that makes business miserable, that makes selling miserable, and then two, you're going to get people that are just energetically misaligned with you and you're not going to want to work with them. And if you don't want to work with them, then what's the point of having your business, right? The whole point is to make an impact. The whole point is to create these offers and make an impact and work with people that you want to work with. Okay? And the last thing, I'm scared of what people will say. What are people going to say about me? Oh well. The right people will be thrilled that you have this offer. That's really what it comes down to. You have to remember that. The right people, I can't believe that is a lowercase I. I need to go change that. The right people will be thrilled that the offer exists. I remember launching Intuitive Writing Mastery, and that was my first fully spiritual product. And I was actually very nervous. I was very excited though. I was like, I want to launch this. It was on my heart. I needed to do it. And simultaneously, I was like, people are going to think I've gone crazy. They're going to think I'm nuts. And I launched it. And sure enough, DMs from people saying, "Oh my gosh, I've been looking for something like this. I didn't know I needed something like this. I love that this exists." Right? So that very thing that you could be sitting on and thinking about, like, what are people going to say, could literally be the thing that people are waiting on. Okay? That could be the thing that people are like, I need this right now. Okay? So remember that. Okay? A few more reframes. You learn these skills and you deserve to be compensated. Period. Period. Okay? People's transformations are literally waiting on you. You already did the thing, whatever the thing is. They're waiting on you to do it. Okay? You're an authority in your space and people respect your work. You just say that over and over. I am an authority in my space and people respect my work. And you know what? One advice that I got a long time ago, the internet is not real. So if somebody's mean to you, just delete the comment and block them and go on. It never happened. It's not a real place. It's pretend. Okay. Your story serves a purpose, and not sharing your gifts is a disservice to others. Oh, excuse me. I should not have drank that Olipop right before this. Note to self, no carbonated beverages before masterclass. Anyways, not sharing your gifts is a disservice to others. So, quick recap, and I am going to give you some next steps. Like I said, I always say it in the beginning, and I just slipped my mind. I was too excited. But we clarified your expertise. We outlined a method. You learned about different digital offers, and now you're in a new identity. Now you're like, I can do this. Okay. If you were the ones who was like, I'm unsure, and you saw that, and now you're like, yes, I can do this, type in the chat, I can do this. Okay. Let me know that you've shifted. I can do this because you can do it. So here are some optional next steps for you. Okay. If they feel aligned to do, go ahead and you can do them. If it doesn't, I am not going to twist your arm. So the first thing is there are always two different options to go with. So I have a DIY approach. If you really want to take your experience and make it like, next level, and you're like, I think I've learned enough, I want to do this myself, you can take the DIY route. There is also a hands-on guidance route. Okay. I've got a lot, but I really want to see this through to fruition. Okay. I want to see it like really build beyond what I'm seeing right now. That's what the hands-on guidance is. Okay. So let's get into both of them. So the first one is going to be, it's called Digitalize Your Expertise. So this is a self-taught course. I cannot believe my image is not loading. It's a self-taught course. Turn your story, skills, or lived experience into a fully built package and marketed digital offer through this guided course. So, what I have inside of this course is 7 bite-sized modules that is going to take you from experience, skills, and your expertise, and is going to take you and show you exactly step by step how to turn it into a digital product with guided videos on how you can design it. There's the bonus of how to write an ebook and teach what you know in there for my ebook people. And then there's how to create videos for a masterclass or a course. So I walk you through step by step. I teach you exactly how to set up the tech on the back end. So um, and then scan emails for like automation and stuff like that. That is all on the back end. And then I teach you the sales strategy that I teach my clients, which is how to use what I call story selling. Okay, story selling, story led sales for as your sales strategy for your digital product. The idea behind this is you want your story to capture the right audience. And as it captures the right audience, you want them to know that your digital product is the automatic like next step for how they're going to get to the next point, right? How they're going to get from point A to Z. So that's what I teach you inside of there is using story selling as a sales strategy. That way it does not feel like you're over here begging for money because you're just talking about your experience in a way that's making other people like, wow, she really gets me. I need that. Okay. And then how to market your digital product. Right now, I'm always adding to it, but right now, the places to market in there are TikTok and Pinterest. I will be adding Threads soon, and eventually I will be adding Substack to that. So that's the full transformation from idea to offer visibility. Let me grab that link. Oh gosh, where's my mouse? 1 second, y'all. Copy. Okay. Let me grab that link. I'm going to put it as a comment. So that is the digitalize your expertise link. So anybody who wants to go the DIY route can do so with that link there. If the link doesn't work, you can head over to the link in my bio, and that is called digitalize your expertise. It's normally $397. Right now you can do it for $147, and you get full access to it. You can also read the sales page, which goes a little bit more in depth. So DIY people, that is all you. Now, my next thing, this is the one I'm always excited. I'm excited about both of them. Who am I kidding? So this is for the people who want hands-on guidance. This is the one where it's like, I want to take my experience and I want to go beyond a digital product. I want a digital offer hierarchy. So those of you who saw the slide and you were like, I could sell this more than one way. This is for you. Okay. So this one is a 6-month coaching program. And this is for women who want to take their experience and turn it into, like I said, a digital offer hierarchy to sell at different price points. So if you want to be able to take one experience and maybe offer coaching, a signature coaching program, and then supporting digital offers behind that, this is for you. So over the 6 months, we are going to go through 4 phases. The first phase is the inner authority. So within 30 days, we're going to map out what your experience is and make sure that you already have a product that you can start selling. There is no reason to wait 6 months to start making money. Okay. Phase 2 is going to be messaging, authority, and positioning. There should be a comment right there. This is all about how to take your experience and position it in a way that, like I said, the story-led sales or story selling method that allows people to resonate with you and then want to also purchase your product. Your product is the logical next step for what they need. Okay. Phase 3 is expansion, systems, and digital hierarchy. This is the automation piece. This is the AI piece. I use AI for automation, not like it doesn't, AI does not think for us. Okay. We train the AI. We use the AI to help us and automate our systems, not do the work for us. You are not going to have an AI business that sounds like Chat GPT. But this is the expansion process so that you can actually go and live your life and do the things that you want to do and still have systems that support that on the back end. And then the final phase is essentially the legacy and evergreen model. So this is when all of the systems are set up. This is when there are different offer hierarchies. All of your offers are created. People can meet with you at different price points. They can get access to you at different price points. You have, if you're doing coaching, you have your schedule mapped out and different things like that. Okay. So this is the full business building breakthrough. And this is exactly how you're going to take your experience. You're going to turn it into massive impact for the world. So, for those that are ready to lead, this one is the one. Now, with that, some of the logistics on the inside. So, everybody who signs up always gets a 30-minute one-on-one onboarding call so that we can lay the foundation. I do not like to be thrown into somewhere and then not know what I'm doing. Okay. So we're going to do a one-on-one onboarding call. I want to know where you're at. I want to know what your experience is. I want to know what you're feeling, what you're thinking, right? I want to get an idea for you so that we can set you up for success. And then there's live coaching calls every Thursday. If you can't attend live, there are replays that go right into the portal. You get private community access for ongoing support. And then you get to share your wins. And if you have any struggles, because business building comes with struggles, anything that you need help with, anything like that, you can share that in the community where you are both celebrated by others and also like I can actually come and help guide you. And then you get templates and step-by-step curriculum so you're not guessing what to do. So email marketing templates and then like workshop templates, masterclass templates, things like that, so that you can actually build out your hierarchy. Okay. So within that, like I said earlier, guided through the experience to income framework, you will create and launch your first offer within the 30 days. We're not waiting, within 30 days, even if you're starting without an audience. Okay. So that is, like I said, 6 months. It is pay in full 6,000. I do have payment plans through Klarna and Afterpay. And I know those can start about as low as like I think 115 a month or 145 a month, something like that. If you don't want to do like a Klarna or Afterpay, but you wanted to learn if you could just break that down with me, send me a DM on Substack or Instagram. I'll get that link to you too. Send me a DM and we can discuss that. Excuse me. Dang, I was about to say if you have questions and my throat went dry. If you have questions, I'm going to post that link in the chat too. But if you have questions, if you want to, have a conversation to see if you'd be a good fit, you can also send me a DM. Anyways, last things last. For those of you who tuned in, thank you for joining. I want to remind you, you can do this on your own, but a lot of people don't want to, but you can. I've made a lot of progress on my own. And then it came a point where I couldn't do it on my own anymore. Okay. Thank you for everybody who tuned in. Thank you for everybody who jumped on at some point in time. These are all of my socials, the same username across the board. Finally, at Nikki Lynn Mayo. That is Threads, YouTube, Substack, Instagram, and TikTok. If you want to learn more about the Empress Authority, which is the coaching, then you can DM me. Just DM me the word Empress or just ask your question. We can have a conversation. If you have any questions about like Digitalize Your Expertise or anything else that's on my Stand store, feel free to reach out. Like I said, I am going to be running this class pretty consistently. This one for sure is in the rotation. I might do one more and add it to the rotation. I'm not decided. But if you're not subscribed on Substack or YouTube, be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss the next one. I am going to tweak some things and I am excited and ready to rock and roll with y'all. Anyways, have a great Monday. Bye.